Imagine a secret summit. Deep in the wilderness, away from human eyes, representatives from the animal kingdom have gathered from all over the world to document a shared crisis. If we look at the global footprint of this crisis, we see species arriving from vastly different environments. We have lions from the African savanna, tigers from the forests of India, gorillas from the dense Congo basin, and polar bears from the freezing expanses of Siberia. For millennia, these animals lived in a state of strict ecological balance. Their populations naturally regulated themselves, alongside the growth of ancient trees, the flow of clean rivers, and the seasonal freezing of ice caps. They had biological space. Today, that space is vanishing. To support human population growth, large swaths of natural habitat are being systematically cleared to make way for paved roads, expanding cities, and industrial factories. When we talk about human expansion, we usually measure it in square miles of concrete laid or GDP generated. But from the perspective of this wildlife summit, it is a mass eviction event. The true cost of our development is the total, rapid loss of the only homes they have ever known. The eviction process starts with a single, massive disruption to the ecosystem, the physical removal of trees. In high-density biodiversity zones like the rainforest, cutting down the canopy removes both shelter and the base layer of the food chain. Industrial land clearing operates with a mechanical force that bypasses nature's slow cycles. Heavy machinery tears through root systems that took centuries to grow, uprooting the forest's foundation in a matter of hours. Without the plants and cover of the forest floor, primary prey species, like deer and other grazing animals, simply vanish. They migrate away to survive, leaving a biological vacuum behind. Which brings us to the next domino. Apex predators rely entirely on those grazing animals. Confined to shrinking territories with no natural prey, hunters like the Bengal tiger begin to face rapid starvation. The removal of a forest results in a total mathematical collapse of the local food web. Removing the trees effectively dismantles the entire hierarchy of life that evolved within them. As the deep woods disappear, wild animals are forced outward into populated areas. This unnatural proximity to human settlements inevitably leads to fatal misunderstandings. Species that pose little actual threat, like snakes, are routinely killed simply out of fear because they have suddenly appeared in a neighborhood that used to be their hunting ground. But fear is only a fraction of the problem. When human infrastructure splinters the wilderness, it creates open access roads for intentional economic exploitation. A highly organized poaching industry moves into these fragmented forests. High-value species are systematically hunted to supply black markets with skins, bones, and teeth. Stripped of the dense cover and vast distances that once kept them hidden, these animals are left entirely vulnerable to the forces of human greed. The environmental damage extends past the edge of the cleared land. Industrial facilities built on these new sites dump toxic chemical waste directly into the rivers that flow through the remaining wilderness. This pollution rapidly kills off local fish populations, which directly starve secondary river predators like crocodiles, proving that even animals far downstream from the logging are caught in the collapse. When we clear forests, the planet's natural carbon filters, and replace them with industrial zones pouring smoke into the atmosphere, we trigger a global thermal shift. Excess carbon dioxide traps heat within our atmosphere, steadily raising the Earth's temperature. This trapped atmospheric heat eventually concentrates at the poles. In the Arctic, rising temperatures shatter the ice caps, physically melting the hunting grounds beneath the feet of polar bears. A bulldozer clearing timber in the Congo or India triggers a chain reaction that eventually strands a bear in the freezing ocean thousands of miles away. If we listen to the conclusion of this conceptual animal summit, their plea is simple. This Earth is a shared home, and humans must learn to share it peacefully. The inescapable reality is that we cannot isolate ourselves from the damage we cause. A planet stripped of its forests, depleted of its fish, and choked by toxic air will eventually become hostile to human life and human industry as well. Conservation serves as an essential requirement for human survival, rather than a gesture of kindness to animals. Our future depends on the planetary health we are currently dismantling. We have to shift from passive consumption to active conservation. That begins on the ground, with local communities actively working to restore forest lands and rebuild biological space. We also have to adopt technology that works with the planet rather than against it. Transitioning to clean, renewable energy sources allows us to power our societies without heating the poles. It requires us to develop the good sense to recognize that human progress does not require planetary destruction. We are not the owners of this planet. We are its protectors.